Good afternoon, and thank you for coming. This is what in church world is called a prelude. This music is meant to make you think, make you have some feelings, and interpret it the way that you will. I wrote this. I'm lonely and searching for my love, and I need your sweet hand holding mine. We've traveled along many highways. There's still many miles for us to go. My country, America, where are you? We're walking along lonesome road. The people, they say they all love you. I know I love my country too. Please God, where is their hope? There must be some caring souls. Come gather together and sing as one, and help me to send this message home. Oh, my country, America, where are you? We're walking along lonesome road. The people, they say they all love you, but I know I love my country too. I'm lonely and searching for my love. I need your sweet hand holding mine. We've traveled along many highways. There's still many miles for us to go.
Thank you, Ty. What a great way to get this started. Welcome to Attleboro's 7th Annual Pride Event, 2023. I want to welcome and thank all the members of the community who are here with us. I also want to thank all the speakers here at City Hall and the vendors at the Balfour Riverwalk. In addition to the distinguished speakers, we have many local elected officials here with us today. I want to just mention, we have from the school committee, Chris Frappier, Diane Sawyer, Scott Dominici, and city council members that I've seen, and Laura Dolan, Michael Angelo. We also have Olivia Texera from Senator Warren's office is here, and Sheriff Paul Haro is here. Let's welcome everybody. Thank you. Sorry, Annie, I didn't mention you. All right, last year we expanded our celebration to go from having only the flag raising, which we've been a part of since 2017, or I've been a part of, to the flag raising, the walk to Balfour Riverwalk, and the vendor fair with donated water and snacks. It's important to be mindful about why we celebrate Pride. We celebrate every year to show the LGBTQ residents of Attleboro that the city accepts, notices, and supports them. It's a sense of belonging and safety already experienced by those who are straight or cisgendered. Pride started as a riot in Stonewall Inn in 1969 because the LGBTQ population needed to fight for their rights to live with authenticity and safety. Today, in 2023, it is horrendous that LGBTQ people still need to fight for their right to exist. LGBTQ people were finding peace that society was slowly accepting and affirming their existence with marriage equality that started in Massachusetts in 2004, and the repeal of DOMA in 2015, and the enactment of non-discriminatory laws all across the country. Each year, June is filled with joyful celebrations of that acceptance and visibility in person and in the media. Things seem to be getting better for a while. In only a few short years after what seemed like a gain from these wins, several states started repealing those non-discriminatory laws to show they wanted to go back in time to a place when LGBT people didn't exist or were hiding in the closet. We blinked, and then state and local legislators introduced over 600 hateful laws targeting the LGBTQ community, and books about LGBTQ people are being banned from libraries in the last few years alone. It's hard to feel safe in Texas or Tennessee if you're transgender and want gender-affirming healthcare. They've banned puberty blockers and hormone therapy. They've restricted trans athletes in college sports. They've also expanded the definition of sexual conduct to include drag shows, saying they are detrimental to children. Now in Florida, you've all probably heard of the Don't Say Gay bill. They recently expanded that bill so teachers can't teach about sexual orientation and gender identity through their senior year. Educators are also required to out children to their parents. This bill was expanded to include outlawing gender transition treatments, restricting bathroom use, and keeping children out of drag shows. Florida has done more to make people feel unsafe. The NAACP recently advised Black people against traveling to Florida, saying there's open hostility to them by allowing gun owners to carry a concealed weapon without a permit, an aggressive attempt to erase Black history. Equality Florida has issued an advisory warning against travel to the state due to these laws that strip away basic rights and freedoms from even those visiting. Families are moving from the state. Prospective students are crossing Florida colleges and universities off their lists. Events and conferences are canceling future gatherings there. Even the military is offering redeployment for service members whose families are now unsafe in the state. Brandon Wolf of Equality Florida recently was interviewed on MSNBC and said, when LGBT people are under attack, everybody loses. Freedom is what is at stake there. The freedom we have been given in the United States should be unconditional for all of us and not taken away because of who we are based on gender identity or sexual orientation. We're lucky to live in Massachusetts, where same-sex people can marry, adopt children, make medical decisions for each other. And in 2018, Massachusetts voters kept the transgender protections in public accommodations with the yes vote on question 3. This means that transgender people continue to have equal rights in employment, housing, public accommodation, credit, and lending, normal life activities. Voters made that happen. Service members who risked and gave the ultimate sacrifice with their lives did it for our freedom to vote and to live in a free society. Voting is so important because the people we put in office write and pass all these laws. Listen to what candidates say, what they don't say, who they support, and who supports them. Friends, we are not immune to this hate. So Pride is a time to show our LGBTQ brothers and sisters that we care and that we want them to exist outside of the closets. LGBTQ people bring so much to our society with kindness, compassion, skills, and talents. Diversity is a strength, not a weakness, and I'm proud to live in Attleboro. Thank you all for being here today to demonstrate your support and solidarity with LGBT community. I look forward to celebrating with each of you. Happy Pride. Next, I want to introduce our newly elected mayor, Kathleen DeSimone.
Hello. Hello. So things might get a little heavy today, but as someone who's attended and participated in quite a few of these over my lifetime, let's not forget that Pride is equal parts protest and party. It is okay to have fun. In fact, fun and joy and partying is one way that we shove it right up everybody else's face. That we are here, we are not going anywhere, and we'll have a hell of a good time. So on that note, my friends, good afternoon and welcome to Attleboro's 2023 Pride Flag Raising event. As I said, I've attended several of these events over the years. I've had the honor of speaking before when I was a member of the municipal council. And of course, this year that I am mayor, they had no choice but to let me participate again. I got the keys to the place now. I am honored to be here, though, in all capacities. I want to thank all of you in attendance for being here to celebrate and support those of us in the LGBTQ community. I also want to thank specifically the Council for Human Rights for doing this again and again and again. These people are my friends, and I know they're good. They're good people. I also want to thank our special guest speakers, State Rep. Jim Hawkins and Adam Scanlon, I think is here, Assistant School Superintendent Laurie Regan, Reverend Cheryl Harris, Joe Ordog from PFLAG, Alex Sawyer from the Attleboro Youth Commission, and Pastor Will Sensabaugh from the Second Congregational Church. We are indeed lucky in the city of Attleboro to have such strong support from our elected officials, civil servants, and leaders. But we're also lucky, friends, to have a lot of support from so many residents in the community. Let's remember that. Some of you may know, if you've been to the past couple of Pride events, you may have heard a little bit of my story, which involves a shotgun wedding right here in City Hall when my partner Laura and I were married in 2004 by the city clerk Sue Flood, shortly after gay marriage was legalized in Massachusetts. Not long after the marriage we had in City Hall, we wound up having 2 kids down at Sturdy. Attleboro has always been very supportive in our experience and very welcoming, and I am very grateful for that. But after 25 years of living here, I continue to discover new things. And one of the things I've discovered last fall and winter when I was campaigning is that Attleboro has a lot of LGBTQ families. And I was so incredibly happy to make that discovery. Some of you may have known that. I was unaware, friends. I was unaware. But I want to tell you a little bit of story why that matters to me. Some of you may know, and I know Sheriff Hero does, that going door to door to campaign is not often fun, frankly. Sometimes it's really hard to do. And although most people are nice, you never really know what's going to happen after you ring the doorbell and those few seconds before the door is opened. And I'm particularly sensitive in light of everything going on that Laurie mentioned in the country with book bans and the record number of LGBTQ and anti-trans laws. There's just a couple of moments there where you're like, I don't know. And I've been living out loud for a long time, so there's not really much that you can say or do to me. I'm not afraid at all of who I am. But still, there's a part of you, and I think probably all members of the LGBT crowd know this, there's a little teeny part of you that's like, ew. Are they going to slam the door in my face? Are they going to call me names? Are they going to say something to hurt me? And that seldom happened, and I was very grateful for that. But I will tell you something, and I've told this to my friend Laura Dolan, every single time I walked up to a house that had a pride flag in the yard or a pride sticker on the car, I breathed a small sigh of relief. It felt good. And I knew, like, this is going to go well. I was just, whether they agreed with me or not, it did not matter. It was the reception was everything. It was being welcomed and respected and greeted by people I had never met but felt like I knew. I regret actually, and I've said this to Laura and my partner Laura as well, that I should have kept a list of all the LGBTQ people I talked to for two reasons. One, because I want to tell them how happy and grateful I am that they're out there and that they opened the door so warmly, and just knowing they were there. But also because we could have had a hell of a party. There's a lot of fun people in this city. So next time I'm going to door, I'm keeping a list. But I also would have told them that those flags and those stickers, they matter. They matter in a way that perhaps I might have not even realized before this year. So when we raise the pride flag in June, it's so that other LGBTQ folks know that in Attleboro they are welcomed, they are respected, they are safe, and they matter. And I'm sure for those of you like me in the crowd who happen to be a member of that community, you know exactly how much that means even today in 2023. So I thank you for being here today. I hope you have a great Pride Day, a great Pride Month, and remember that every day you should live with pride. And every day you are welcome, supported, and loved in City Hall for as long as I'm in this office, for sure, and I'm sure for long thereafter. So thank you very much. Happy Pride Month.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with us today. My name is Stephanie. I'm the Secretary of the Attleboro Council on Human Rights, and I am going to read some remarks from folks who were not able to be with us today, who wanted to share their support of the community. And so I'm going to start off with Governor Maura Healey. She said, "Pride is a celebration of who you are and who you love. You know, each year in June, I think about how far this community has come. I think about the shoulders we stand on, the activists, the trailblazers who paved the way for our community to live our full, authentic selves. This year, Pride, we know, is coming at a time when our community faces a nationwide onslaught of anti-gay, anti-trans legislation and action. With book bans, drag bans, and restrictions on healthcare and history books, too many are trying to turn back the clock on our rights. But that's not going to happen here in Massachusetts. That's not who we are. So many of our victories were won here. First, in Massachusetts, we laid the groundwork for marriage equality nationwide. We protect people from discrimination. We preserve access to gender-affirming care. I'm proud of that history. I'm proud of the history of people in this state who have worked to open doors for all who have been left out of the conversation for far too long. To LGBTQ plus folks, and especially young people across the country, I know we're in tough times. I know that the road ahead looks long and hard, but know that you are welcome, loved, and celebrated here in Massachusetts. Happy Pride." I also want to acknowledge Olivia Texera is here from Senator Warren's office, and she brought a special certificate of congressional recognition presented to the city of Attleboro in celebration of the annual LGBTQ plus ceremonial flag raising. So, and thank you for being here with us, Olivia. I'm now going to read remarks from our Congressman Jake Auchincloss. Though he could not be with us today in person, Congressman Jake Auchincloss, representing the Attleboro in the Massachusetts 4th Congressional District, sent the following message for our event. "I'm sorry I cannot be with you today to help celebrate Pride, but I wanted to send some thoughts as you gather for this very special event. As a student of history, I think it's important to take a moment to reflect on the first Pride flag that helped inspire events like the one we're celebrating today. The first Pride flag was flown on June 25, 1978, during San Francisco Pride, after Harvey Milk asked LGBTQ plus activist and artist Gilbert Baker to design a new symbol of pride for the community. Just a few months after the flying of the first Pride flag, Harvey Milk, first openly gay elected official in California history, would be assassinated. It's easy for our generation to take for granted the political and personal risk that come with flying this flag, and the risks that still come with being out for so many. In the 43 years since the first flag was flown, we've seen transformative change in the United States. More openly, LGBTQ politicians have been elected to public office. Marriage equality is now the law of the land, and we saw an openly gay presidential candidate win the Iowa caucus. But we can't forget that we still have so much to achieve. Massachusetts has always led the way on progress, and my generation has an opportunity to help make more lasting change for the LGBTQ community. I'm committed to doing so in Congress and continuing the tradition our state has of supplying our nation with leaders who champion equality and making sure everyone is treated with the dignity and respect they deserve. So as you gather under the Pride flag today, let us remember the sacred message it represents. Pride in the LGBTQ community, those who have come out and those who are not yet able. Pride in what we've achieved and determined optimism for what's to come. Pride and thanks for those who have come before, and gratitude for those yet to come who will help ensure that no one will be discriminated against for who they are and who they love. And I definitely could not do Senator Paul Feeney justice, but he was not able to be here with us today. He's saddened he can't be here in person with us this year for what has become one of his favorite days to be in Attleboro each and every year. And also, unfortunately, Representative Adam Scanlon could not be here, but I wanted to recognize that they wanted to be here and unfortunately are not well, and so we wish them the best, but thank you. I'm going to introduce Attleboro Public Schools Assistant Superintendent Lori Regan.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. On behalf of Superintendent Sawyer and the Attleboro Public Schools, it is our honor to participate in today's Pride flag raising ceremony. We appreciate that the Attleboro Council on Human Rights recognizes the crucial role that the schools play in supporting the city's LGBTQ community. The mission of our district is to engage, challenge, and inspire all students to maximize their unique potential and improve our world. And all means all. Unfortunately, lived experience does not always match these lofty words. So, until each and every student feels safe, respected, and empowered to be their authentic selves, our work remains unfinished. The leaders of APS fully appreciate the responsibility that they have to improve our world and to pave the way for a more inclusive and compassionate society. So, may we take this moment to celebrate the beautiful diversity of the human spirit and inspire the Attleboro community to continue the work of building a more accepting world for all our students. Thank you.
Next in our program, I'd like to welcome the Reverend Cheryl Harris.
Happy Pride. I love that dog. That dog seems to bark and yelp at just the right moment, celebrating in the right places. I'm honored to be here today to offer some remarks. All are made in the image of God, fearfully and wonderfully made, in God's image with full rights and privileges of human dignity. There's a South African term, Ubuntu. Ubuntu, U-B-U-N-T-U. And it translates to say that a person is a person through other persons. In other words, none of us live in isolation or individuality, but we're all interconnected and we're improved by our relationships with one another and become more human as we interact with one another. So be all you can be, fully yourselves, because when we are each all that we can be, it makes it possible for all of us to become more authentic, more fully human. So there's no such thing as a solitary individual because people are not confined by a social construct. They are fully themselves in many different ways and constructs that are defined by the who-ness of who they are, you see. So through recognition of each person's uniqueness and difference, we affirm our shared humanity. We must recognize that there are unique aspects and individual ways of expressing self that allow us and that affirm us as shared humanity. So today we celebrate Pride Month, and we stand in solidarity with all of our LGBTQ siblings. From Stonewall in June of '69 to today, the need to keep alive traditions of resistance and critique is still necessary. The need to be agents against victimization is still necessary. The need to fight against oppression is still necessary. Nurturing souls is a loving form of justice. My faith, I am called to do the work of justice. Jesus was a revolutionary. One of the things Jesus said is that we must stand up for those who are oppressed, those who are poor, those who are marginalized, those who are left out, that we all are in this together. We must stand for justice. Justice workers must pierce the community with acts of love, pierce the community with acts of respect for all, pierce the community with human dignity for all, pierce the community with an embrace for all. Hand in hand, step by step, we walk together in solidarity, in peace, as the beloved community, assuring human dignity, respect, and admiration for our LGBTQ siblings.
Thank you, Reverend Cheryl Harris. That was amazing. I want to recognize and welcome State Representative Jim Hawkins next to the podium. He's been to these events every year.
Almost every year. I was at my 51st college reunion in Maine last year, and I couldn't make it back in time. And when you get to be in your 70s, you don't skip the college reunions because you don't know who's going to be at the next one. So this is indeed an honor, and I think one of the things about being an elected is it matters what you do and what you stand for. And it matters to me to be here today and every year, except for last year, and every year since I've been in this office. I'm also, as Laurie Regan, I'm a retired teacher from the high school, and I know that this is the culture here in Attleboro. But we've also got to pay attention to what Laurie was saying. There's a creeping voice that's very scary, that's working to undermine all the good work we've done to support people who are LGBTQ. And we can't rest on our laurels and say we're all set. Don't worry about it. We got to worry about it. We've got to keep doing this. We've got to keep speaking about it. We've got to keep the idea alive. Everybody is important. And why do I have to follow Reverend Harris? I don't have a speech like that. But thank you for inviting me every year to do this. It matters to me that I'm here, so thank you.
Wonderful speech, thank you. Next we have Joe Ordog from PFLAG who will come and say a few words.
Good afternoon. Thank you to the Mayor, the Council of Human Rights, our elected officials, and all assembled for coming here today to show your support for the LGBTQ+ communities. I have great hope that we can come together and stem the tide of attacks on the LGBTQ+ communities, libraries, violent assaults, access to health care, and democracy itself. We need to stand up for our freedoms. We need to stand up for our friends and neighbors. Please get involved in your local school committee meetings to ensure that book bans do not happen in school libraries. Please get involved in your school committee meetings to ensure that students have access to gender-neutral bathrooms. We all have gender-neutral bathrooms at home. Why can't there be gender-neutral bathrooms in schools? Please email, phone, or write letters to your elected officials to ask their help in defeating bills that target athletes and bathroom access. Please stand up for all school children and push back against outing a child to parents or anyone else. Each of us knows who we are and know who we can trust based on their actions and words. Please stand against school policies that demand that information beyond academic performance and bad behavior be shared with parents. If you don't know who your child truly is, then you haven't paid them enough attention or you've made them feel unsafe at home. Please join together and stand up for all that is good. Let's build a future of love, understanding, and acceptance of all, and not impose our individual beliefs on others. Thank you all for being here. Celebrate love.
All right, now the person who does not need any introduction at all, Alex Sawyer.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. If this is your first time, welcome. My name is Alex Sawyer. If this is not your first time, you know who I am. I am the girl who tells you her story a little more every year. So let's get into it. I am a junior at our local high school, Attleboro High. I am 17, and I am part of the Attleboro Youth Commission. I am currently the vice chair. I want you to think about the perfect family. I put money on it right now that you all thought about a white family with a man and woman, a son and daughter, possibly a dog or cat. That family is the family that is considered the white picket fence family. That family is the family that society pushes down our throats and says is perfect. Oh my God. Times are slowly changing. We are expecting couples to be white. We still expect a man and woman in a relationship. Any parent of any child knows that when your kid is going on a field trip, there's a lot of forms that need to be signed in order for your kid to be able to go. Oh my gosh. Whew. If you look at those forms, it will say mother or father signature. Even when I was in school, I used to always hear people talk about their moms and dads. It's a social norm for you, your parents, your kids, when you're an adult, to be straight, unless you tell someone otherwise. I want to break this social norm on what a normal family looks like. If you have never read the definition of normal, it is to conform to a standard, usual, typical, or expected. This is the worst definition I've read in my entire life. A normal family should be any family. It applies to those grandparents who take in their family when needed. It can be a one-parent mom or dad who picks up multiple shifts and works multiple jobs in order to be able to take care of their kid. These relationships should be considered normal. I would like to end this speech the same way I end it every year. Every day in school, we stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. The last line is, with liberty and justice for all. This is the most important line. With liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to follow her. Sorry, Pastor Will Sensabai, you are next.
It is an honor and a privilege to be standing here today. I feel blessed to be given the opportunity to share a few words. So I'll start right off. I was at a clergy gathering a few years ago, and there were 5 pastors sitting around talking. And we were talking about our doctor's appointments. And the first person is like, oh, my doctor, oh my goodness, diagnosed me wrong. The next pastor's like, oh, my doctor prescribed the wrong meds. Oh, well, this doctor made me wait in the waiting room for an hour. Oh, this doctor has the worst magazines in the waiting room. You know, it goes on. And it goes on like this for a while, and I'm just sitting there drinking my coffee, watching all this conversation go on, and then I interrupted them, and I said, you know, there's a group of people sitting around right now, and they're sharing their bad pastor stories. And I am certain that I am the subject of at least one or two persons' bad pastor stories. But I have no doubt that this extends to every job. The dishonest mechanic, the slippery used car saleswoman, that one coach who is the reason that you quit your favorite sport, that one teacher that wronged you or your child. So I am here today to represent the church that I serve, perhaps Churches of Attleboro. I cannot speak for every church, as one person cannot speak of every LGBTQ experience. But I do feel confident enough to share this message. In many ways, the church has failed the LGBTQ plus community. And in many ways, pastors and parishioners have failed the community. Some of us, not on purpose. We have allowed and perpetuated a particular selective reading of the Bible. We have encoded it in the church's DNA, enshrouded it in our creeds, doctrines, and the unwritten ethos of our institutions. But there are pastors, theologians, church leaders who are trying to share an alternative reading. But it's hard work. And as you all know, the struggle is real. When I hear the stories about people being rejected by their own families because who they are conflicts with their church's beliefs, I am deeply and profoundly saddened. And I want to talk with those families, and I want to share that Jesus said, well, you heard it said this, but I say that. Meaning Jesus understood. Things change. The old traditional way of thinking isn't always the one that gives life. And there are pastors who are here today because they are willing to make the pivot with Jesus. And they love and they support you wherever you find yourself on the continuum, spectrum, alphabet. They, like me, believe that yes, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that God loves you, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Recently, a person asked on the Everything Attleboro Facebook page, I just want to pause right there for you all to catch up. Yeah, they said, I'm looking for a church to attend. My family is a part of the LGBTQ community. So naturally, I tuned in. Of course, I had to plug the church that I serve, Second Congregational Church, downtown Attleboro, the big red brick one, as we are an open and affirming church. Well, within a couple of days, I'm not making this up, within a couple of days, there were 100 responses. Everyone selling their church, which is wonderful, right? Because it means that there are a lot of people out there who are giving love to their faith community. You know, comments like, we have a great preacher, we have a great Sunday school, oh, we're very friendly, we have wonderful small groups, we have a rock band, fog machines, a laser light show. We have wonderful fellowship. We welcome everyone. But I think the real question there wasn't, is it a good church? Does it have good programs? The real question is, and it's probably in this order, will I be welcomed? Will I be accepted? Will I be affirmed? Do you want me to change? Do you not want me to change? Can I be my most absolute authentic self and not be judged, shamed, prayed for, or prayed against. We all, believe me, we all have bad church stories, but there is potential for so many great church stories. Now, I want to finish this little speech with this thing. 37 years ago today, on June 4th, 1986, I graduated from Attleboro High School. And keep all your applause till later. You're applauding that I actually graduated. On that day, I was invited to make a speech as well. And every year at Thanksgiving, each class made a float for the homecoming parade. And so we'd create this float, and then we'd come up with a theme for the float. So my sophomore year at Attleboro High, we came up with the theme, Fly High with the Pride and the Power of 86. Majestic. Fly high with the pride and the power of 86. A bunch of 15-year-olds came up with that. Amazing. So I would like to close with these words, the same words that I closed my speech with 37 years ago today. May you all fly high with the pride and the power of 86. May we all fly high in pride and power. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming and for all the speakers that came and spoke today. But our program's not done yet. I want to invite everybody to make their way outside to the Pride, the flag pole outside where we're going to raise the Pride flag. But don't leave. I want everybody to be able to see the Pride flag raising. And I want one more time, a round of applause for all the speakers, please.